it's editing Remy. I look a mess right now, but the video you're about to watch was filmed months ago, like in February, and I'm just now editing it and putting it out. It was filmed with my old camera, so it's gonna look a little different, but I hope you guys enjoy.
Welcome back, my little goblins. It's Remy. Today I want to talk about how I annotate. So I've gathered all the books that I've annotated, these heavily annotated beauties. So we are going to be going through these and discuss how I annotate now and how I started annotating. So the first book that I ever annotated was ACOTAR. I was very wary about annotating at first. I really didn't want to write in my books and like destroy my books. That's how I saw it anyway. But I really, this is also the first time I'd ever broken a spine. I never wanted to do that either. I would always because I didn't want to break the spine. So, but then, I did it on accident at first, and then I just liked the way it looked, I guess. But I only like it if I break the spine. I bought this book, Final Girls, and the spine was broken, and it was supposedly a brand new copy. And I was very upset. I think I only I only like it when I break the spine because I just remember reading it, I guess, looking at the entire series on my shelf and seeing all the broken spines. I'm currently on ACOWAR, and I broke the spines as I went. So I mean, technically I'm not at the third part yet, but I wanted to see the 3 lines, so I broke the spine in. So it's just I like looking at it. I don't know. So when I first started annotating in ACOTAR, you can see that I used different colored pens, and I would just underline in the different colored pens. And my tabs were also different. I had beside the tab was the correlated color for that section, and also my quotes and notes, because black was for notes, but also for quotes. So I would only tab my quotes, so I would always put only tab quotes on the tab. So yeah, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I still go back. There's a specific tab that I just know, and there's just specific scenes that I just know the tab, and I just open it and look at it, and I just remember how I felt reading the book. And I just feel like annotating really makes you connect with the story on a different level, and you interact with the text in a different way than just reading it. But my only problem is that looking at these over time, they sat there, the ink bled through, you can see right here. The ink bled through, and at the time it wasn't bleeding through. But the pink especially, as time went on and the ink kind of sat on the paper, it really bled through. And I didn't notice that until after I had annotated with this, and I'd looked back through again. So I read this at the beginning of last year, so a year ago I read this. So I didn't realize this until recently, looking through these. And I still don't use the colored pens just because that's just not my preference for annotating anymore. But I'm glad I don't, because I don't like how these pens bled through over time. It was just not great. But yeah, I really fell in love with annotating with this book. This book made me feel so many emotions. I love this book so much. I have a full spoilers reading vlog for this book, and I was obsessed. I was obsessed so much. I loved all the characters, even though the end of this book and the next book takes a turn and makes me think about these characters differently. Still looking through these annotations and what I annotated and what I put, how I felt in the moment, I can still feel those feelings, even though I know things gonna take a turn. Things gonna take a turn. But yeah, and you know what? I just said that this is the first time I started annotating. This wasn't. This was actually the second time, now that I'm thinking about it. So scratch everything I just said. But I did fall in love with annotating through this book, because my first time annotating, I read The Inheritance Games. And you can see I tabbed so many things in this book. And like versus this book, right? So I started annotating with this book. I feel like I went a little overboard. I used the Crayola Super Tips. Everyone said that those were really good highlighters for annotating, like when I was like looking on BookTube and stuff. And this is how I did my little key at first, so I could use it as a bookmark. Oh my god, focus. Thank you. But you see this one right here is so dark you can't even read the text. And that was my problem with the Crayola Super Tips. They weren't like pastel like ones like these highlighters I have now. Because they were too like heavy on the color, because they're markers, not like highlighters. So they were just really dark. But yeah, I first started annotating with this. I really did go overboard with the annotating. I was really excited. But I don't ever look back at these annotations like I do with these. So I feel like I really fell in love with annotating through this book more than anything. I rarely ever look back through these, but on a regular basis when I look at my shelf, I will go pick up one of like either this or Akamov and look through my annotations. But yeah, this is the first time I started annotating. I used the Crayola Super Tips, and then I would use a black pen, and then sometimes I'd use a red pen to do little hearts and stuff. But yeah, my handwriting is awful. And so I hate the only thing I hate about looking back at my annotations is how bad my handwriting is. My handwriting is so bad. But yeah, so this got me into annotating. This made me fall in love with annotating. So now we're going to go with the next thing I started annotating, which I think the next thing I annotated was House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I love this book. It's a mystery novel, like mystery, kind of like paranormal type. Like it's like a very interesting book. I think this is when I started using the different colored pens before I started annotating ACOTAR, because this is where I have a lot of different colored pens in here, or this was after I read ACOTAR. I can't remember. I think it was after, because I also read this at the beginning of last year. So I didn't annotate a lot. I just kind of annotated some quotes, some sister quotes that kind of reminded me of me and my little sister. And then I annotated some things that some important things, like things I thought were going on. Like I had some romantic tabs and stuff, but literally out of all of them, I tabbed one out of the romance tabs, because this really wasn't a romance book. It was mainly about the mystery and what happened to her sister. So I ended up tabbing more of the important stuff. But yeah, it was something that I really realized that I liked doing. I liked especially quotes. Quotes were my favorite thing that I go back to often, or looking at quotes from a book. So then after that I read The Hawthorne Legacy, and this was my favorite book in the Inheritance Games series. I still haven't read The Final Gambit, but that's neither here nor there. So, and I just tossed that book and it went on the floor, and I thought it was gonna land over here. I'm gonna have to pick that up. But with the Hawthorne Legacy is when I started to shift my tabbing, I think. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought this was when I shifted to highlighters. No. I'm still using colored pens in this one. And actually, I used cool tones in this one because of the cover. And the cool tones didn't really bleed through like the warm tones in ACOTAR did. Like, they're not bleeding through the page. I don't know if this is when I got new pens, because I have a bunch, like, when I first did the pens, I had, like, the Inkjoy pens, and I think this is when I got my ballpoint pens, so maybe that's why they didn't bleed through, but I actually really like these annotations. Like, maybe it's just because I have a thing for purple, but I love this purple page right here. But I didn't annotate quite as much as I did the first book. I think the first book, I just went a little overboard. But, yeah, I honestly, looking at this makes me want to go back to using the different colored pens, because look at how cute this is. This is just so cute. But I don't know. Like, I have a bunch of different colored pens. I might do it, like, maybe one book or something. The last book that I fully annotated was Asimov. This I annotated the crap out of. Like, I loved this book so much. Like, there's full pages that are highlighted. This is when I moved to highlighters. I got my new highlighters. I was, like, ready. And I love these highlighters, let me tell you. They don't bleed through. They leave a little bit of a shadow. But it's not like they're not bleeding through the page. And, like, I have entire pages annotated, like, entire pages, and they don't bleed through. And this is when I was trying to be really pretty with my handwriting, and I started doing cursive, but because I wanted to be able to, like, post pictures on my Instagram and stuff. But yeah, no, these are just, I regularly, if I'm feeling like picking up a book and looking at my annotations, it's this one. I love this book to death. Like, to death. I was going through it when I was reading this book, like, a little mental rut, if you will. And I was kind of in a book slump. So, like, I read this book so slowly. Like, I read it took me 2 months to read this book. But I also have a reading vlog on this one. But honestly, like, I loved it. There were some quotes in here that really helped me. I love Ryzen and Feyre's relationship in this. I love how the ending, like, made me want to cry. I don't know if I did cry or not, but the ending was just, it really was intense. And yeah, and I don't know, I love this book. I love this book so much. I have a full spoiler. Yeah, it's a full spoilers on all of these reading vlogs. But yeah, no, I don't want to say any quotes, but I love this freaking book. I love this book. And all of my quotes were in this, like, white tab, like this, like, kind of whitish tab, so, like, they kind of stick out, and you can just quickly go back to them. But the only problem is, like, when you're kind of looking at it, some of the lighter colors kind of look like it, so, like, it's hard to, ooh, there's one. And I think I ended up putting too much quotes and had to switch tabs. But there was, like, the beginning of this book was just so, like, melancholy and, like, just really, really solemn and sad. And Miss Feyre was, okay, this is, like, basically a book review now. I'm not, but it's okay. This book is good. The annotations, this is when I shifted my annotation to what I annotate with now, is what I'm trying to say. I do use these. I use these, what are they? It says Zaire highlighters that I got from Amazon. I can link them. So my favorite pen ever is this pen, the G2. The G2. Oh, this is a 05. I usually get the 07, the 7mm, but this Pilot G2 is, like, one of my favorite pens ever. I write everything with this. I do book annotations. I write in my journal with it. If I need a pen, this is my go-to. And I need to buy refills because my other G2 pen is out of ink. It's right here, I think. Yeah. See? She's out of ink. She gone. I took the refill out, I think. Oh, no, I didn't. It's right here. But I have refills in my Amazon cart. I just need to buy them. I'm sure I can get them at Walmart, too, if I went to Walmart. But also, I will also link an Amazon link for this, but honestly, you can buy this at Walmart. Like, you can. I'm sure you could probably find these highlighters in some store, but I bought them off of Amazon, and I don't know what store they would be in. Maybe, like, Michael's or, like, maybe Walmart or something. So this pen, I love how this pen works because I'm able to write small without the ink, like, smudging together. So, like, I can write my E's really small and you can tell it's an E, and it's not, like, a big, like, thing and then a little line, and you kind of gotta guess it's an E or a fucked up C. You know what I'm saying? So I like that I could write smaller, and that was my problem before, is that I would write too big and then it would look really messy. But with this pen, I can write smaller and it looked decent. Like, I still need to work on my penmanship, but it looks really nice. I really love how this looks. And I liked the highlighting because I love how these highlighters look. They're not too heavy on the color, like you can see through even the dark colors, and it's just so good. This is how, when I started shifting my annotation into something that I like more, and that's what I still do now. So currently I'm annotating War. So I have gotten this much through, like, hold on. I've gotten this much through. I haven't annotated a lot. I'm honestly, like I said in my last video, if you watched my last video, I'm kind of bored with this book. It's been kind of a slow read for me. I don't really want to read it, to be honest. A lot of the war prep is slow. I'm almost halfway through the book, and it just feels like nothing is happening. So I haven't annotated a lot. I mainly heavily annotated. This is kind of a spoiler. I mainly annotated Ryzen and Feyre's reunion. It's not really a spoiler, but you haven't read the series, then it kind of is. But like if you're on the first book, but yeah, that's the thing I heavily annotated. Everything else I haven't really annotated. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is just like how Akamov is. That's just, I annotate the same. I have been in this one. I always find colors that match the cover. Like these are the only pink ones I have. And I mixed some of my other like ones and made my own little tab thing for this book. And I still use a Pilot G2 pen. So yeah, this is basically, I annotate the same in this as I have in that. And yeah, if you're trying to start annotating but you don't really want to write in your books, a lot of people suggest the clear sticky notes. I have never used those, so I can't attest for them. But I would just say go for it. Take a book that you're not really excited about, like I did with the Inheritance games. Like I wanted to read it, I was excited about the story, but it wasn't going to be the end of the world for me if like I fucked up the book. Like, so take a book that you're not really sure about. Maybe I don't know. Something small, like Coraline, for instance. I want to annotate this year, actually. But Coraline, for instance, if it's like this is like one of my favorite reads, so I probably, if I was wary, I probably wouldn't do it. But this book is cheap, it's small, it's short, so maybe try with something like that, and see how you feel about it, and then you can get your confidence with it, and then start on books that you like a lot more. And it really helps you connect with the characters, I feel like, more, because you're like writing down and like fawning over the interaction or the scene. And I really recommend it. Even if you're reading like for school or something, like annotating it just is another way to interact with the text to help you remember what you're reading and like just kind of take in what you're reading. it's really helped me remember a lot of time. Like, I could literally take this book right here, go like, and it's like I'm there in Valeris with them, you know. And so, and like I remember, I'll like see a certain scene and see like the intenseness of it, and like what I'm writing down, I'm like, what the fuck, how is this, blah, blah, blah. Like, I remember how I felt reading that, because like it is one of my favorite ways to read, is annotating. Like, just annotating everything. Even when I listen to audiobooks, I will go back through what I just listened to and annotate everything I want to annotate. Like, when I read Book Lovers, now I didn't finish annotating this, I need to, but I went back through, like I'm halfway through, and I went back through and annotated it. So, and I listened to that mostly. But this book is so good. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you really enjoyed this video. It's just something I really love to do and talk about, and I know a lot of people are starting to annotate. So yeah, this is just how I do it. And you can, you know, adopt my way and doing it, and then find your own little personal way to do it. You know, that's kind of what I did. I watched other people do it, and I did it how they did it, and now I have my own style of annotating. Even though it's kind of basic, but I like it, so it doesn't matter, as long as you're having fun, right? Yeah. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!